I want to share with you our 3 speakers. So I will introduce them one by one, but I'll go with the youngest. When I say youngest, is that they have the least time with Toastmasters. So that'll be Sheila. So Sheila, originally from Nepal, but she has been in this country for 17 years. Here is this. She joined Toastmasters in 2022 and then became VPM of her club, Parksters TM, in June 2023. And she had a goal. At the VPM, she had a goal. She said, I want to add 1 new member every month. And she has been doing that. So I'm dying to hear how many club members she has. She has been doing that since then, except for 3 months in between. She was absent. Outside Toastmasters, Sheila is a government employee working for California State Department as an analyst. Toastmasters to her gave her confidence and leadership skills to move forward in her career. In Toastmasters, she found many friends, her inner circle of friends, to share tears and fears, and Liz keep going. And now I'd like to introduce our second youngest, that is Pim. Pim comes from the Sierra Speakers Toastmasters since the end of December 2016, so almost 8 years. She has served the club's VPE for several terms. And last year, she wants to share with you, her home club met all 6 educational goals. Also, in between, she helped with the area and division contest, even though she was not an area director or division director last year. And outside Toastmasters, she is a senior internal controls associate for a mortgage lending company. Welcome, Pim. Now I'd like to introduce my most seasoned speaker on the panel, Alan. Alan has been Toastmaster since 1989 at the Redwood City Orators. The club was chartered 4 years before that, so I can tell you, Alan is the kind of historian of the club. He has held all officer roles, and even in 1992 served as the area governor. So that time, I really liked the title area governor instead of area director. He always served at district sergeant at arms. Now it's called logistic manager. Alan has been really helpful for us in the trainer for the secretary and treasurer. Professionally, Alan is a realtor and a commercial mortgage broker. You can see mortgage seems like a recurring theme tonight. Wait, there are more. Alan also teaches business law and real estate at the City College of San Francisco and the Skyline College in San Mateo. So tonight, we have a professor with us. With this, I'll just go on with ask my questions, but then ask our guests to join about 20 minutes before the hour, before 8 o'clock. Again, if you join us, you can, well, my plan is we stay long if needed after 8 o'clock, and for whoever still can stay with us. So I'll ask everyone. I think the order I will decide to go with the youngest, Sheila, and the middle, Pim and Alan. And so it's really up for you to add in what you heard. So with the first one, share something about your club. Is your club corporate club or community club? How many members do you have? How often do you meet? And do you meet in person or virtually? With that, Sheila, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Joy, for this nice introduction. And very happy to be here today. Our club, I belong to Parksters, as you mentioned earlier. Parkster started on 1972, and it is semi-corporate, I will say, because we are using a Public Utilities Commission building, and their equipment. They let us use their one of the room. We don't have to pay the rent. We don't have to use we don't have to pay for their high resolution devices, and but they don't pay our dues. But people are allowed to come to our meeting. Register them as a guest, and then they can come to our meeting when they want. And another thing is we do it hybrid. So people can join from anywhere. Meeting happens every Thursday from noon to 1, and it's hybrid. What else? Yeah, it's a mixed of corporate and community and hybrid in person, both.
Great. It sounds like you have pretty state-of-the-art facility to enable this hybrid meeting. We have so many clubs challenged by this, right? Because yeah, how to set up the camera, you have to do it really in a regular room. That'll be hard. Thank you so much.
We're fortunate to use the building and the equipment.
Perfect. Thank you, Sheila. And that probably an idea. Maybe we can do that. Now I come to Pim. Pim, tell us about your club.
Thank you, Joy. Happy to be here as well. My home club is Sierra Speakers Toastmaster. We are a community club. Currently, we have 20 members, just had 3 new members joining us. And we meet every Thursday from 6:05 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Our meetings also hybrid. Online is via Zoom, or in person will be in the Metropolitans. If you don't know where it's at, is on 333 First Street, San Francisco. And we're lucky enough to have our members, one of our members hosted at that location. She lives in the condo, and then we just happen to use the conference room.
Oh,
So that works for us for now. And also, just like Sheila, having offering Zoom's online meeting also help us getting a lot of guests from different locations, different places, could be from a different country. Right now, we had a few guests from Japan with the time zones, which is pretty great. That's also attract a lot of people with offering Zoom meeting.
I want a follow-up question, Pim. A conference room is just a typical conference room, or like a conference room they call like Zoom capable?
It's Zoom capable. So we use when we have a hybrid meeting, we use 2 laptops, and they also have a big screen as well where every Zoom's attendance will be on the TV on the screen.
I see.
But to make the hybrid meeting works well, we use two laptops.
It's kind of makeshift, right? In a sense, it's not like the corporate, they have microphone pick up everything and they have 6 different cameras look at the audience from different angle. It looks like you just use your 2 laptops, add a camera, look at the room.
Yes, yeah. So we can see everybody in the room and they can also see us.
Okay, cool. So you make it work.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Alan, can you tell us about your club?
So I'm a member of Redwood City Orators, and actually we have a new member, which is called Joy Fung, who joined our group, which is a wonderful thing. And I am currently the secretary treasurer for the group, and I've been there for a while, and I also help with the training. Our club has, I think we're about 12 or 13, I think, members. We're under that magical number of 20 that Toastmasters gets, but we're trying our best to recruit members. We are getting people that show up to our guest, and we try to make sure that we keep in contact with them, or at least I do that, and invite them to the meeting, get their comments. We are on Zoom only. We are not doing as a hybrid because we don't have the equipment. After COVID, we lost our space that we used to meet in, and we haven't really found a space that's available for us. So we're not Zoom. And the issue that we always have with hybrid is who's going to bring the equipment and who's going to set it up and who's going to run it, which always seems to be a little bit of a difficulty. So I think that I don't know. I joined the club and I've fell in and I haven't got out of it yet. So I'm still doing okay at this point. So
And plus you meet every Friday at 7 o'clock.
yes, yes, we want our members and our guests to log on at 6:55 a.m. on Friday morning. We have a meeting tomorrow morning and we try to start right at 7 o'clock. I have found that because of Zoom there, and maybe not just because of Zoom, maybe even face-to-face, there's always the stragglers. So we probably get started about 7:03 and we run till 8 o'clock. 8 a.m. And we typically have one or two speakers. It depends on the group because we also have all the other positions that we have to fill. So there's very few times recently that we've actually had 3 speakers, but most time we have 2. And sometimes we have 1, especially if it's going to be a long speech and we just extend the table topics.
Thank you, Alan. I do make sure Sheila really proudly want to share with you, her club has 28 members. So with this, I'll go to my next question is, how does your club schedule meeting roles? Because having enough people to sign up roles ahead of time has been a challenge for many clubs. So Sheila, can you share? How do you do this? How advanced, how ahead of time you do this? Go ahead, Sheila.
So our club has this really good system. It was there before I started. The VP of Education, she sends out the Google form asking the member to send their availability for next 2 months. Like, let's see, this is October. She will ask now ahead of time for December and January if we are available or not. So planning is really what our VP of Education is doing. And I want to screen, the other thing is that is helping us to plan the meeting role. And I would like to share the screen.
Yeah, no, every club seems to, every club has their own way to do it.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can see your.
So
yes.
here, I will explain it. And we have advanced, all the members are here on the left-hand side. And schedule is up until the end of this year. And this is color-coded, so fancy. It was there before I started. I get very impressed whoever created this. Speakers are yellow. Grammarian is red. Timer is blue. Joke Master is turquoise. So here is this really helps us people to prepare ahead. Like I am Toastmaster this coming week, and I am already prepared for preparing me. Like I'll be Toastmaster. I have to do this job, this. I have to contact people. I have to be on top of it. And as soon as today's meeting over, I contacted all of them because I am responsible. I'm Toastmaster. So I contacted them. It's my job to make sure everybody is there. I will start finding the replacement if they won't be there. So this tool is really, really helping us. And it is on our website. Anybody can access this. And one of the newer member, he shared that this colorful scheduling system was impressive when he joined our club. So yeah, this is really, really good tool, and I love it.
Thank you, Sheila. And where you stop sharing, I do say, actually, I can imagine the new club, when the new member join new club, when they realize everyone is serious about this, I think kind of makes them sure, oh, I have to probably up my game. But Pim, can you share how would you, I see from Sheila, basically she planned her meeting all the way to the end of the year. And And with a large club, I think that's needed. Make sure everyone go there. But PM, how did you plan yours?
Similar to Plexter, how with Sheila's club, where my club we used Google spreadsheet for our club meeting schedule. We plan and post our club meeting roles about 2 to 3 weeks in advance of the next 2 month schedule. So for just the same example with the to prepare for the November and then December schedule, the meeting roles we 3 weeks in prior to the November, the VP sent out the announcement to all members to update their November and December availability on the spreadsheet, along with the due date to update their availability, and then also the date that the November and December would be scheduled. And usually all members will have about a week to update their November and December availability. And so let me see if I can screen share.
Yeah, I think it makes sense because every club had their own way to do it. It looks like as long as your club works fine, the system works fine, but it's often the motivation part. Oh, this is great.
Right.
Yeah, I see.
So
the thing.
we have to so our club, when they update their availabilities, they will come up here with their name on the left side. And what they do is they just need to block themselves out if they're not available. And any names that left, that means they are pretty much available. So giving example, I did have a just so it doesn't look too confusing with all that members. So I have this member 1 to 15, and if let's say member 2 is not available, she can block herself out. And anything that left open, that means I can schedule. And then with the formula on the top, let's say if they already assigned themselves, so let's say if I assign member 10, then their name will be drop out over there. So then we know that there won't be a conflict of double schedule someone.
Ooh,
And then
cool. Yeah.
And then similar to Sheila with the color code, we also do the color code as well, but we only do 3 color code, meaning for the green, that means someone's already confirmed their role, and yellow, meaning that we notify that person, the member, and red means that we need to that means that person's not available and they need to find replacements. So we ask each member once they put themselves in red to also notify the Toastmaster of that day, and also to try to find a replacement if they can. And so let's say, and then also every club officers can come in here, and if they notice that there's no color coded at all, that's when they reach out to the side row, or mainly to the Toastmaster, and just kind of give them an email or just ping them that, hey, have you notified everybody on that, on that schedule on that particular meeting? So that's how we know with the 3 color codes that we use.
Great. Thank you.
But and then please go ahead.
You go ahead. You go ahead.
And if anyone wanted to get example of this, I did create the blank form, so you're welcome to. It's because it's a private it's not publicly posted, so but I did create a blank sheet, so if anyone here wanted to get a copy, if you think it might work for you guys, please let me know. I can send it to your way.
It's always fascinated me. Every club had their own way, because I always thought every club used a free Toast host. It's a Toastmaster member created online form. But the bottom line is like, as long as the club like the system they work, it's all work. With this, I want to ask Alan, how do you manage your clubs? I mean, does the speak
Manage?
Yeah,
Manage? I have to manage it?
No.
We use a platform called Easy Speak. We've used it for the last 20 years. It was actually created by a gentleman, I can't remember his name, but he's from the UK, and he actually monitors and everything else. But we went into this software, it doesn't cost us anything. We went into this software because Toastmasters kept getting after us and asking us, well, who's your Toastmaster of the year, and who's, the numbers and how many speeches. And so it was always difficult for us to keep track of it. Now with this platform, I have the ability to keep track of how many speeches you've won for as best speaker, best evaluator, best table topics person. It also tracks all the speeches they do. So especially when we switch over to Pathway, it's easy for the members to print their schedule of speeches they have, and we kind of make sure that we match it up with Pathway so that they get that. So what I typically do at the meeting, once I host the meeting. What I mean by that is I'm the host as far as Zoom is concerned, and then halfway through the meeting, I say who'd like to be the speaker for next week, and people sign up. And then sometimes if they don't sign up, then I do what I do well, which is strong arm and require them to speak. Most of our club are senior members. They've been in for a long time. And so they're kind of at the advanced level. So if we say you need to have a speech, they'll have a speech. So, and if somebody backs out, which happens, I do know that I think it's maybe because of Zoom, they seem to got a lot lazier now. They kind of wait till the last minute. And on Wednesday, I send out a thing that says, please update Easy Speak. And then on Thursday, I do the same thing. And I target the certain people that have not, like my 2 speakers for tomorrow morning has not RSVP'd, but they have now done it as of about 6 o'clock because I was on the phone to them to saying, are you coming or not? So again, it's just trying to keep track of it. And we like this platform called Easy Speak because what happens is when you bring up a meeting and it doesn't autofill after you fill in the speakers, it will tell you the last time that they did that particular assignment. And what I also like about it, it also says, for instance, if I'm an evaluator and Joy is my speaker, as an example, it's going to say the last time I evaluated Joy. So I try to get another evaluator so that she has a wider spectrum as from a speaker point of view through the evaluation. So that platform allows me to be able to do that, and I print agenda. And agenda's available, and we have all the components, theme of the day, our word of the day, theme of the meeting, who's going to do what, and we work from there. So sometimes we don't have a lot of members, and so we've created a new area called show. We call it the show person. And that person typically does the all counter, grammarian, and also the joke teller. We just call that person the show. We typically assign the timekeeper to the Toastmaster, whoever the Toastmaster is, and then we fill out the rest of the roles from there. So, our primary focus is that of the speakers and the evaluators to give them time, but then we also have table topics, and we try to match. We're not successful all the time, but try to match the content of table topics to the theme of the meeting. We try our best to be able to do that.
Thank you, Alan.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to wrap up in the next 12 minutes, so I have enough Q&A. But one thing, I'll combine the 2 questions together. It's basically, I see in so many clubs, people say, I don't have time. Okay, I don't have time for speech. I don't even time for show up for meeting roles. So my question is, first of all, do you ever cancel club meeting, or do you often, okay, let's see how many members coming. If we don't have enough number, we just cancel it. And we keep canceling because I see clubs keep canceling, and that's really, so want to just then, and then if not, do you cancel meeting? The first question. The second one, if some people say I don't have time, what do you do? So I'm going with Sheila.
Thank you, Joy. We never had to cancel the meeting since we had many members, never had to cancel the meeting. A few times we had incident that members said they don't have time, but our mentors are really on top of us. Like Alan said, he's a hammer, and our mentors are our hammer. They ask us to, even though the mentorship programs end in 6 months, our mentor are always encouraging us to have a back pocket speech when we need it. So most of us are always have, I mean, not everybody is prepared. New members are still learning, but we always have a back pocket speech, and whenever needed, Toastmaster will ask if anybody wants to speak, and people volunteer and just speak.
Wow.
So I just give credit to mentors who put hammer on their protege.
Yeah, good muscle in it. So Pim, you go ahead. What do you do? Yes.
Similar to Sheila, we have not canceled any of our meetings, even when we only have like 5 members. Just like Alan, you know, sometimes you just need to do member just need to do a dual roles like our counter, doing a joke master and grammarian at the same time, and then the Toastmaster can also be worst case table topic master and a timer at the same time. The most important, we just need to have a speaker and a speech evaluator. Always need to have a speaker, and then to the point of, let's say if we don't have a speaker or prepared speech in our club, what we do, we have it, we call a 5 to 7 minute impromptu speech. So at the beginning of the meeting, we will give out any topics for that particular speaker, for that particular person to write the speech, and then we'll give that person about 10 to 15 minutes to prepare for a speech. It needs to be an introduction, body, and conclusion, and we also evaluate on that speech as well. So it's still a semi-prepared speech, but it's just 5 to 7 minute impromptu speech.
Wow,
And
thank you.
yes, and just this and the same thing with Alan. We do have our VPM and also a couple officers that can also tackle people like, hey, you need to, you know, are you coming? Or, you know, you need to come. Or if you're not, let's say what can we do? And usually our Toastmaster is really good at try to maneuver and figure out a lot of things to do with to be able to hold a meeting.
Sounds like if you set higher standards for people, they will reach to it with time, right? Thank you. Alan, I bet you said a few things, but my question if to you have to give you a tougher one. If someone
So I will share with you, we have canceled some meetings only because of lack of members showing up, because sometimes schedules just don't work. And I have about 3 members, and I'm one of the 3 that travel internationally. So sometimes the time frame is a little awkward. But when we decide to cancel a meeting because we don't have enough people there, I mean, we may have the speakers there, we may have an evaluator there. We always leave it up to the speaker, because the rest of the roles we can fill, so that's not a problem. But the speaker has spent the time to do that, and the speaker wants to do the speech, then we allow them to do that. But if the speaker says, I can push it till next week, then we push it to next week. So we always give that decision to the speakers that were informed. I will also say, Pam, that we don't do 5 to 7 minutes on the impromptu. We do 2 to 3 minutes. The same time for the evaluations for them on a topic. And we sometimes have in the past give them a topic like you did, but with more of an impromptu speech, and tell them that at the end of the meeting, see, that wasn't really difficult, because we do have an area that's impromptu speaking. And we remind people that we do it all the time. We don't have a problem with speakers, and a lot of times we ask people to volunteer, and they volunteer, and that's fine. But sometimes they cancel, and I have myself and two other members, total of 3 of us, that will just step in and do a speech, so it's not a problem. And so I'm kind of the last fill type thing. So if we need a speaker, then I become a speaker. We also, in our club, we have Mark Prince. Some of you may know who Mark Prince is, who's also a very experienced Toastmaster. And now we have Joy. How exciting. So thank you very much, Joy.
I have to say, before I joined Alan's club, I belonged to a corporate club for 10, 12 years, and we never talk about politics or very controversial issues. The
Boy,
first
we do.
they do.
We do.
They do. They talk about politics, but always in a very respectful way. So really, but come to this, I do want to ask you.
Joy, I want to say that in our club, nothing is sacred. We talk about everything, but we come away with friends, and we respect each other's point of view, which is interesting because we all have a different perspective. So
Very interesting. Yeah, that's totally true. Next question I want to ask: how do you make the fun? How do you make the meeting fun? Do you do like all the weeks do the same meeting, or sometimes you just break out things? How do you make it fun? Sheila.
Oh, we don't have to make it fun. It's always fun.
Okay. Oh, fun every time. That's good. That's good.
People would like to improve their public speaking, so they want to attend, and I am so proud that our club is so diverse. We have a different ethnicity from Lebanon, from Nepal, from Mexico, from America, you name it, from all ethnicity, all religion, old and young, and many of us are English is a second language, so it's mix of all. So it's always fun. No need to make it fun.
Okay. It's always a party. Always a party. Thank you. Tim, how about you?
We for our club, so when we have a meeting, the officers meeting, we usually try to come up with, what we can do to make our club more fun, maybe something different for maybe in a 1 month or maybe 2 months from now. For example, we used to hold a evaluation night, meaning the speech evaluation only, or we have what we call 2 minute special, which is like about 1 to 2 minute speech, just anything inspirational, educational. So we just do a 2 minute special speech night, or we also do the impromptu night, meaning everything at that night just about impromptu, 5 to 7 minute impromptu speech, and also of course table topics. We try to, and then we also leave it to the Toastmaster of the day too, to be creative. We always try to encourage them, like, okay, yes, we need to follow the agenda, the meeting structures, but at the same time, if you have something interesting, go ahead, bring it up. And then every meeting, we always have a theme. Try to have a theme of the meeting. Try to make it fun, and each individual just for our members, just like Sheila, just pretty diverse. So they come up with a lot of different interesting theme. We had a theme about election too, politics. Yes, we do talk about politics. Luckily, I think we're on the same side, so so usually there's no conflict there. But we always trying to make it interesting where um keep it with the structures of Toastmaster meeting, but at the same time, just give it some spice to the club too, just to make it more fun.
Thank you. And Alan, I think how do you make your club fun? I know it's fun. Go ahead.
So the issue that we have in our club is that we start at 7:00 a.m. in the morning, and we're just happy they come out of bed, and they're still trying to wipe their eyes out and trying to drink the coffee to get energy. So it's sometimes difficult. We do have a joke telling. We try to at least give some levity that way. I will also share with you, although we haven't done it in a very long time, but we used to do backwards meeting. And what backwards meeting was, instead of going through the speeches to the evaluations, the table topics, we would do table topics, evaluations, and speeches, where the evaluators would talk with the speakers, and they would say, "This is what I want you to do during your speech." So either hit something or do something or play with your keys or whatever the case may be. And so it just seems to be, it's interesting when you do that. And this software that we use, which is Easy Speak, I can do a reverse meeting with that, and it automatically does it for me, which is a wonderful thing. So.
Well, I do want to remind, I think in the chat, I know our panelists may not have time, but we have a few requests to actually share the Excel sheet. Just give you a moment of that. But in the next 1 minute, I'll ask each of you in less than 1 minute to tell anything you want to share If you want to say, if I have a new club, I say, I'm really struggling with my club meetings. People, the naughty people come, they all have written, say, I have no time, no one to even sign up to be Toastmaster because that's more work for me. So if you have 1 minute, tell me what do you want to share. Then we can go to the Q&A. Okay, Sheila.
So our VP of Education, she tracks who is on what level on the speech ladder, and she gave the speech about that, how to climb up to that ladder, and it's everybody is a combined work. A member and officer together. Officers are working really hard to make members grow, and she tracks those levels, and we earn certain incentives from district level, from Toastmasters somewhere. I don't know exactly the detail. And to encourage people, we give out that gift certificate, whoever completes the level. I receive twice that level. I completed level 2, so I received the gift certificate twice. So that's very good incentive we can use. It's a win-win situation. We come up go up the ladder and get the money as well.
Oh, real money. Great idea. Pim,
Yes.
you want to part with someone who's struggling with a club meeting?
Well, I just wanted to share something really quick in 1 minute, I hope. So just like similar to Sheila, we also track the pathway tracker too, because we know sometimes it's hard to for our members to go in and navigate the Toast pathway base camp. Hopefully with the updates, it's gonna be amazing. But we do have pathway tracker where we track each progress of our members. So this is an example. And again, if you would like to have a copy, please let me know. I did have a blank copy, but pretty much we will track down who's when did they register? Is it before or after that 2021? And then we track to who does what, and then if they complete it, then we just put the yellow. But pretty much we track all the levels, all the speeches in each project. So you'll see, because each pathway is similar, but when it comes to level 4 and 5, it's a little bit different. So this way we keep track of each member, and then we also keep track of new members and whether or not they register in pathways, and then also and then have a mentor as well. So we use the pathway tracker to track this, and then verify with if they update their pathway base camp. So this is easy too for everyone to follow up, and at the same time, then we can follow up with our members like, hey, you are level 2 project 1 now. Are you going to work on this? So that's
Okay.
easy.
Yeah. So almost you can you let member know where they are and tell them where they can go. So you kind of show you care and show them increment progress. And then in Sheila's group, even after they make a milestone, you award them with real incentives. So we let them every time appreciate how far they have gone so far. How about you, Alan? What do you want to share with them?
I will say to our group, it's we've had a little difficulty trying to understand pathways before, and none of the members really understood it. I didn't even understand it. I got a clear understanding when Joy joined our group, because she kind of put it in perspective for us. Although we've had 2 other people try to explain it, but still it wasn't. So I think that we have most of our members that have been registered on pathways, which is a good thing. And also this software update that Toastmaster did forced an awful lot of people to get in there and get it fixed, so that because we threatened them that said your accomplishment may not cross over, so you need to make sure you get it completed. We knew that it was crossover because I kept copies of everything, but we told them that they need to get in there. And so it motivated a few of our members to actually start going into pathways and actually completing different deals. So it worked out well in that area. But it is a little confusing to a lot of people. I even think to myself, it's still a little confusing, but I can navigate it, and I can always call and ask for help. That's the nice thing about that.
And with that, I think with new pathway, hopefully we'll have some time to play with it, and well, the district will offer at least information sessions. With that, our Ken, tech chair, can you? Now we're open to Q&A, so feel free to ask away. We're still recording now, so hopefully you're okay to share, or you can just ask question, because we don't need to read. I mean, we have just this small crowd, so we don't need to type in, just say, raise your hand this way or digitally, and I'll just call you. Anyone has questions, or you can just, anyone start? Lauren, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to hear about how you recruit new members. What are you doing that's working for you? Well, I'm in a club. I'm in Palo Alto Toastmasters. We have really great SEO. So people come in just because we're named Palo Alto Toastmasters. So we thank our lucky stars for that. But what else should we be doing? Because there's so much churn. Our club seems to be at about 12 members consistently. And it's just putting a lot of strain on the officers always.
Go ahead, Pim.
Okay, I'll go first. So with our clubs, we use the review, the Google review, Yelp reviews, and that's how we attract new coming members as well. And also our VPE, when we have new guests, we also have a tracker too, to see the new guests, how many times they come, and she usually follow up with them to see like, hey, how do you like our clubs? And usually our guests share with us like what's not working and what's working with them, and then we just need to keep following up with them and pay attention to them. But most two important things for us is the advertisement and promotions on our website, and also the reviews that we get. And then the second part would be the VPM, where she follow up with our guests.
Alan, go ahead.
You will also want to make sure that your information is correct at Toastmasters International. So when people do a search, they kind of know, because you'll get a notification that somebody's inquiring, and you need to have somebody, for lack of better terms, on the phone almost immediately when that pops up, so that you can do the connection. And then we typically go through, and since we are on Zoom, I always say, after I've done an introduction and we talk about Toastmasters, I say, can I please send you the link? And then I make sure that before the meeting, we meet on Friday. So on Thursday, I will send them, email to them, acknowledge it. We've also have some luck and meetup. Meetup seems to work out well for us. And when we used to meet in Redwood City, hence our name, we used to also do an advertisement at the public library. So again, we used to get an awful lot of people that way. So.
Yeah. So. If I can add here, I feel, Lauren, you are lucky you have a name that seems to attract people come in, but you also use the name churn. So I feel like they just one door in, the other door out. So I feel like, seem like do you have someone, either you have a lot of new visitors, but they decide not to stay, or you have new members, they stay. Go ahead. You're on mute.
That's not really the case. What happens is they join, and then members that have been there for a while, someone gets a new job, they have to leave, right. Or they just get so busy at work they cannot show up anymore. So I don't think there's that much we can do about that. Right. But I mean, I do think they're finding value in the meeting. People really like it, but you know, I know we need to continue to focus on doing good evaluation so that people really get value out of the time they spend speaking. But yeah.
Go ahead.
You know, understand this, that everybody joins Toastmasters for a different reason, whatever that reason is. A lot of times it's job, a lot of times it's just feeling comfortable with people. And once they get that, or what they think that they got, then they're going to move to the next level. So we are really just a transfer station for a lot of people. Some people stick and some people move on. And, you know, and I also think that unfortunately with, I'm just going to go back to COVID and the job situation, and people are trying to focus on trying to get jobs. And although it's also a great way for them to get into Toastmasters so that they can learn to speak and learn to do the stuff that they need to do. But they also have to give up that time. And so sometimes they have to focus on their jobs. So I get what, but we all join for particular reasons. And once we make that reason, then we move on.
If I can add to that as well, so maybe because we do have a few, sometime we had a few returning members who moves out to, give us this example, who moves out to San Diego, but she couldn't find a club that just make her feel at home or similar to our club, so she joined via Zoom, perhaps. And then sometime what we do, we reach out back to our previous members, or who maybe perhaps, like just saying hi, checking in, how's it going, do you know, just inviting them to come back, not to like forcefully joining us, but hey, you want to come back, we have a special night, we have a meeting, we wanted to see you again, just get that reconnection with them, just connecting again with them. So that's a good idea, to just reach out back to the previous members or previous Toastmaster.
Right.
Thank you.
Sheila, go ahead, Sheila.
All of the above, like Freeman Allen said, I want to add one more thing. I'm a VP of membership. I shared how I was successful. I go to my personal party. I'm from Nepal. Now we have 3 Nepali member in our club, including me is 4. Whenever I go to my party, they see changes on me. And then they ask me, how do you become so confident? How you become so confident on speaking? So they want to come, and I'm a VP of education. When guests come, I'll turn them into member. So they see changes on me. I shared my story on whatever party I go, and people see changes on me, they wanted to join.
Go ahead, Alan.
I'd also like to say I've recently have done this a lot of times with the speakers that we have, or even the jokes that we have at our meeting. I tell that joke all the way through the day, and they go, "Well, where'd you hear that?" "I heard that at Toastmasters, at my Toastmaster meeting." So, or we had this speaker that talked about this. "Well, where did you hear about this?" And so I use that as a platform to invite other people in to see what, I mean, I teach, and so I always talk, I'm an advocate about Toastmasters in my classes. And I've got 2 or 3 students that have showed up because they wanted to see how they can do it, but they would join it after the semester. I wouldn't let them join during the semester because I don't want to get in trouble. So there's a fine line that I have to walk there. So here's Rosalie has a question.
Thank you, Alan. And I add something quickly, and just send that to Rodelia. You're ready to kind of share your screen. But Lauren, I still recall before COVID, when I first joined Toastmasters, people told me the natural turnover time of a membership is 40%. So in a sense, I mean, it is a community, like people come and go, come and go. That's why getting new members is almost like you have to replenish. So leaking is constant. So you have to fill in more than you leak out. So really, it is a battle there. So I want to ask for Rosalia, and then I believe Christina want to share them as well. So
thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really recommend going back to previous members. I have noticed that if you go back to some previous members that left right at the beginning of the pandemic, they might be ready to join. So that's a great place to look for previous members. Just reach out to them and say, "Hey, well."
Rosalia, your audio is really kind of cutting off from time to time.
How are you doing?
Thank you for that. We got the gist of it, though. Reach out to old members.
Yeah.
You
have to let you know because
open
really
house or whatever it is. So I do recommend it. And then if you have trouble finding some of your previous members, reach out to us. I might be able to. My connection's pretty bad. I don't know why. So,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, thank you. Christina, do you want to share something? Because I feel you want to share something. You're on mute.
Yes,
You're
I
on-
would. Yes, I would say about keeping your own club chapters distinctive, even though there are specific guidelines through headquarters, but then to differentiate your own chapter from other chapters within your area or division or district, it really makes a difference. Yeah, definitely. I forgot who mentioned about making the chapter feel like home, because in a way it is, because outside of work, outside of regular household duties and that sort and errands, it's definitely a form of expression, and I can see why that. But in terms of carrying specific themes that other club chapters may not have, or other club traditions and rituals.
have a personality. It's totally okay. Your
Correct.
club.
Yes.
Yeah, but also I found there's so many clubs. There only takes 1 or 2 people to keep that club going, or let it die. So I can tell Alan probably for all these 30 some years, he's the one like the bedrock for that club. Yeah. Anyone to share? I haven't. Olga, you want to say a few things, and Regina, because the beauty is we have such a small club. And Joseph, share something. I'm sure everyone has some ideas on this topic. Go ahead, Joseph.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
It's interesting because we have the same problem at our club. We are at the orbiters, and we have the same issues that you guys mentioned. We also have about 10, 12 members, and the leaking part is tremendous, right? This is obvious right now with what we are seeing. But the new members part of the recruitment is really crucial in terms of replenishing your pipeline. And the membership part of it, working along with the PR is extremely important, right? This part of it is extremely important. And I must say right now, our PR is in a really good shape. And unfortunately, our VPM just quit the club, so we got to find a backup. So we have all these challenges. It's good to hear that all these ideas that is flowing. But I also agree that the fact that there's always a few key members in the club that is going to be the anchor for the club, meaning that somebody who is always there and has a very charismatic character who is just going to blow your guests away whenever they come to the club. So all these things are very key. I think those are the points I pick up from the meeting, which I think we just have to reinforce. I think Harry will agree there. But I don't have much questions, but I'm seeing the same signs that whatever is happening in our club is also happening elsewhere. So this is a good thing, but I think we need to find the link how to make it stronger. And the new members that are coming, they are not holding on. It's like they come in and go. It's just like when they join the meeting, maybe 1 time, 2 time, and then next time you don't see them anymore. So it is sad why people are not making use of this platform to improve themselves, because it is a tremendous way of improving your public speaking skills and leadership. So I just don't understand, but that's just me. So that's my comment.
Alan, go ahead.
Joseph, I'd like to let you know that in our group, we have a lot of experienced people. So when we get a new guest in, and there's an evaluation on that experienced speaker, we are brutal. We really tear into that person. And I always make a point to tell a new person that says they're experienced Toastmaster and we're required to be brutal, then we will not be brutal to you. Because a lot of times you got to be careful because it scares them, like saying, oh my God, I can't do a speech. Look at how they rip that person. But again, and so that maybe that's our humor sometimes that we run across. But I always want to make sure, especially with the new person coming in, that they feel comfortable and they understand that this is an experienced speaker and an experienced evaluator. So we're going to be a little more brutal and more or a little more concerned about other little gestures and stuff. So, and that seems to help. So,
Yeah.
Each
Thanks.
One thing just to also, when maybe just one of the club officers, well, good thing to have a club officer meetings and, every month. And at the same time, maybe just have a club officer or a key member just give a speech or kind of remind everybody or all the members that why we here, the reason we here, not to just yes, to improve public speaking, to improve your leadership skills, but create as a whole, as a family, as it's just the group that is warm, welcome, and encouraging. That's just something that we wanted to promote too. It's including for a new member, to just somehow just to keep them, not just keep them here, but at the same time, yes, you want to improve, but also create that bond together. How to improve our club, how, because this is how we've this is the reason why I still with my club, and also at the same time, that's why I decided to be the division director, is how because how once I already tried to help my club, but how do I also help my area and then my divisions, because I see it as part of me that I wanted to help out. So maybe just kind of have that encouraged members for that as well. Maybe that could be a reason why.
Thank you, Pim. Like help them to see the bigger picture. Because
Yes, yeah.
you're not one. You actually influence, affect a lot of others. Harry, I see Harry raise his hand. Then Lauren. Yeah, let's go, Harry.
Thank you. Our club meets twice a month, first and third Thursdays. First is Zoom and third is hybrid, including local meeting location. Are there any international statistics on how often and how a club meets and the success of those clubs, like the number of members and the goals the clubs receive? Because I'd like to communicate with other clubs with a similar meeting schedule to ours and find out how they're doing compared to us.
Ken, do you want to answer this one? You've seen lots
Yeah,
of clubs.
there was a time that you could trust the numbers, but after COVID, it's just like everything that you knew just changed.
right.
It used to be if a club met more often, it did make a difference because people had more opportunities to, if you're only meeting twice a month, my club only meets twice a month. And if you miss a meeting, if you miss two meetings, you're a month in between. So it does make a difference. But I think all those numbers went out the window with COVID. Everything changed. I mean, what were once very strong or at least comfortable clubs are struggling. My own club, since COVID, we cannot seem to break the 12 barrier. We seem to be at 11. Every time we get a member, somebody else moves on. And it just where there was a time we had as many as 30 members.
Right.
Now, pre-COVID, we were probably at about 18 to 20, but it is definitely different. The only thing that's keeping us going right now is a third of our members are international. They're coming in from China, Hong Kong, Canada, that sort of thing. So I do know one club that has exploded in growth with San Mateo Toastmasters. They were like they were down to, I think, like 6 members. And when they decided to go strictly in person, I think they're now over 40 or something. And for my own club, I'd love to be able to do that, but we'd drop down to 6 members if we did that.
I'll ask Lauren. She raised her hand.
Yeah, I am curious to know, Joseph was talking about how great his PR is, and I'd love to know what you're doing.
Harry, you want to answer that?
Yeah, I've been helping out with the PR of the District 101 club because we didn't find out in time that Meetup excessively jacked up its rates. We have our own club Meetup for a few more months. We also use the district Meetup, our Facebook, and we have our own Free Toast. We have Google Business listing. We have Yelp listing, and yes, there's more that we can do.
I have to say, since I was the PQD of district, I asked every club. So I thought for a while, I said, okay, for the hybrid club, community club, like Ken's club, I say, what if you send all the Japan member back to Japan, Chinese member back to China, and never meet in person? Then someone told me right away, say, no, hybrid club works great for me. Oh, their corporate, their online club works great for them. So I think really hard to. So I have to kind of totally delete what I said earlier. I think just really, Harry had a way. You go ahead. Do you have a winning success recipe? Go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to
Oh, go ahead. No, go
jump
ahead.
into the ongoing question, but Ken brought up the issue of pre and post pandemic attendance. And does TI have any statistics with the worldwide use of Zoom and a couple other platforms for club meetings, and TI losing about 1,000 clubs a year? Is this because the Zoom makes it possible to visit and join other clubs without staying in one location? Is the same number of members worldwide about the same, but they all dispersed via
No,
Zoom?
the membership dropped dramatically after COVID. I think we went backwards as far as total numbers. We went backwards 7 years. And last year is the first year we've seen an increase since the pandemic started, where during the pandemic it just kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller. We had a small increase last year. So for me, Zoom is very convenient, but it really doesn't fit what we're all trying to do with Toastmasters. I mean, public speaking is public speaking, not computer speaking, not online speaking. So my club will remain online, but we're not truly fulfilling, in my mind, what Toastmasters is about, because public speaking, learning to do presentation skills, you know, you really don't do it sitting in front of one of these cameras. The one thing I've changed is I've told my club I'll do is I will do all my speeches stand up going forward because I've gotten lazy. I've gotten to where I write my speeches and I'm real good at sounding like I'm speaking off the cuff, but I'm reading a script. I can read a script and sound like I'm not, and I have to stop doing that. So I have a speech to do tomorrow, and it will be a stand-up speech. And it will not, I'll write my speech. I'm still going to write it tonight, but it will be standing it up, and it will not be with a script in front of me. Anyway,
Thank you, Sheila.
so
Thank you, Sheila. Yeah, thank you for staying around. And she already left her email there. If you want to connect her to ask questions, go ahead. Yeah, but thank you.
so the number and the long and short of it, the numbers are starting to turn back around again. So it's going to be a while before we get back to where we were.
But also, I heard someone mention it's actually District 101. Your Anna Garcia, she's a PQD. She said there are 8 million people in Bay Area. Still now, even people, someone moved out, the question is how to attract newer ones. And I do have to say why the in-person clubs like just mushroomed after, because I think that the new people still gravitate towards, I mean, we get so fatigued over Zoom, right? So no one to join after work, they want to join another Zoom meeting. So probably that's why the in-person clubs just grow so much. With that, anyone want to share? Go ahead, Alan.
I'll say this, and I always sometimes share this a lot. We have a very success story, and the success story was we had a gentleman that spoke nothing but Spanish and had zero English. And we basically allowed him to do his first part of his speeches all in Spanish. None of us really understood what he was saying. We got it. But then as he felt more comfortable, he started adding English words. And the nice thing was he got so proficient in his English through Toastmasters that he was able to get a job because he got in the job in Redwood High School, as example, as one of the instructors there. But it's because we kind of allowed him to kind of speak his own language to feel comfortable, even though we didn't understand. We understood some things. I think some basic, we live here in California, we understand a little bit of Spanish, maybe not very much. But as it progressed, he got a little more comfortable and he picked up English and he got a little bit better. And, you know, Antonio was his name. So I've always remembered that young man. So anyways.
Yeah, Regina, I see you posted so many great ideas, and thank you for joining us on camera. Go ahead,
Thank
Regina.
you. I just want to say that I think virtually presenting is a honed skill. You know, we all sit in front of our monitors and we all are kind of like you said, Zoom tired and fatigued. But even during this own meeting, I don't see her name. It's looks like her job description, but like when she's on camera, she's moving and it's moving and I'm getting seasick and I'm like moving and I'm like, oh my gosh. And Joseph swinging back and forth in his chair. And these are the type of things that we are in the 21st century, and these are new skills that we need to hone so that you're presenting with an appropriate background. Yours is green, some are blurred, some's your logoed company. But we also have to know like placement of the camera, and is it looking up your nose? Are you looking down at it? These are all skills that we need to learn virtually that need to be practiced. And unfortunately, I have a young teenager, you know, they've been on cameras and on their laptops and iPads for years, but it's still something the generation that's sitting on this meeting can still continue to work on. And it's my club is at the California Academy of Sciences, and we have a very small club. Hi, Pam. And you know, I think we're a little rogue, we're a little rough around the edges. Pam has sat in on some of our meetings, and at times we were only 3 people in a room. And we were doubling and tripling up on our roles. So we tend to have turnover. We have, I think, maybe 12 to 15, if that. And we meet every other week. I think Ellen mentioned, you know, if you don't come, or was it Harry? I'm sorry. If you don't come, then you miss a significant time until you come back. And I noticed that our attendance it wanes when we meet at night. So it's a little unsettling walking through Golden Gate Park at night if you're parked near, you know, not nearby during the winter hours. I've not been able to attend because I've had parent teacher, you know, meetings to go to on the same nights. And so there's just other conflicting things that happen. Job changes for sure. We had an intern that was commuting from Santa Clara but lived in San Francisco. So kept his membership but not able to attend. So anyways, there's a lot of things that happen, but it struck a chord for me to come off camera to share that it's important that we do practice virtual skills too. Thank you.
Thank you, Regina. Yeah. Anyone to share? But the bottom line, go ahead, Ken, go
Yeah, I
ahead.
was just wanted to agree with Regina. When we first went online, where I used to do e-training, I used to do online training. I made it a point with the members to actually do speeches on how to present online, how to light yourself properly, how not to have the camera looking up your nose, you know, just different things like that. And, we've been at it now for where are we at? 4 years into this thing. Yeah. So fortunately, most of us have gotten past that, though we can definitely hone it. But I really think, like I said, San Mateo's Toastmasters numbers have exploded when they went back strictly in person. It made a huge difference
And
because
like,
people coming to Toastmasters right now, they're not coming for another Zoom meeting.
That's for sure. Yes, that's for sure.
I just wanted to add something too that I see. I thought that in person is something that they interested, but then I have one of the clubs in my divisions, San Francisco Toastmaster. They meet on Zoom only, online only, and they had, I believe, 38 members. So I'm trying to visit that club. I just haven't had a chance just to see what do they do? I mean, what is
Their
the
secret
site?
sauce is their
Well,
name. They
Oh,
come up to the first thing in a search.
that's true, San Francisco.
Lauren,
San Francisco Toastmasters was huge. They had like 60 attendees, 90, at least 90 members before the pandemic. So they've lost some, but I imagine there's a lot of goodwill. And their meetings were long, and I think they went out like to dinner afterwards with each other. So it was a huge social club.
oh,
Right.
okay.
But then again, then you have the in-person meeting, the Golden Gate, that's huge too, that's large too, and they only do in person. So maybe it's just something that's what's the sauce? Like you said, maybe perhaps the name and then also something else.
Yeah. Well, where they lost, that sounds, if those numbers are right, they lost 2/3 of their members. That kind of feels like the loss most of us have
Yeah.
experienced
Sure.
is about 2/3.
Sure.
Oh.
It's just when you start with 90, 30 seems like is a big club, but not when you started at 90 4 years ago.
Well, Lauren, your club used to be very big, right? How big? Because you have the name.
Our club used to be about 32, around there. Yeah, before the pandemic. And we also met at Palo Alto City Hall.
Oh,
But we lost that room because they probably would have let us stay in it if the pandemic hadn't hit.
Right.
But we were in it because one of the main officers was the assistant city clerk, and it was his job to schedule the room. So he
make
let
a
us have it.
Yeah. Meeting place can be a challenge. Yes, absolutely. With this, I think I'll just call that our
Oh,
go ahead, Pim. Yeah,
oh, I think Harry raised his hand.
yeah. Harry, go ahead.
Just a quick question for Lauren. I'm looking at your contact information via Find a Club, and it says online via Zoom plus in person 1 times a month. And then you list a street address and apartment number. So is that how you publicize how your club meets in person once a month, or is?
No. Maybe I need to change that listing. The club needs an address, and I am the treasurer. So unfortunately, that is my home address.
Yeah.
So maybe I should change that. I do have a mailbox, but we need something there to satisfy the demands of the form.
Yeah, my own club, even though we don't meet there anymore, we've kept the address of where we used to meet, but we say we're strictly online so that we come up in the search for the San Mateo area.
Right.
But I do have to say, if your club just meet
I see.
once a month, it's very sparse in my mind.
Yeah. The other club I belong to, I mentored all of a sudden I'm drawing a blank, the visually impaired club, Lighthouse. And then I ended up joining it because I'm blind in one eye. So I qualified to be a member. But anyway, they went to once a month. And now after the first of the year, they've realized they've got to get back to twice a month because it's become a small core group where they started with, they've only been around for about a year and a half. And they started with well over 20 members, and now there's about 12 core members. And I think it's because of being just once a month.
Right.
I would not be in favor of actually meeting even less than once a week. We meet weekly at noon. We have an additional meeting once a month in person.
Oh.
So we meet 5 times a month.
Okay. Then probably how it was advertised kind of confusing, maybe.
I will take a look at that.
Take a look at that. I guess that's your font information. Thank you, Harry, to look that up.
There's I just watched, I'm like sitting here scrolling, I'm trying to find it. There was just a movie released on Netflix that talks about how social engagement with people have dropped over the generations. It's very interesting. I'm struggling right now to like try to find it. It's not The Social Dilemma, but it really talks about like the Oddfellows organizations and bowling and how people and churches and how people would get together on a regular basis with the Kiwanis Club and Boys and Girl Scouts, like all of the, and there was more social interaction. And this show just talked about how we've lost that recently, as we had TVs come into our living rooms and screens. And so I feel it's very relevant as we're talking about the pros and cons of Zoom meetings versus in person. But there's actually an entire experiment on this that's being tracked since TVs landed in our parents' and grandparents' living rooms. Very fascinating. I'm sorry, I can't find the name of it. I'm trying.
Yeah, I mean, that's very real. And of course, with our phones and the engagement with social media, it's much worse now. So that just emphasizes the need to push back against that and try to get towards in-person meetings, which is why we started the once a month meeting. But if people don't come, we won't be doing more.
Right.
It hasn't been super well attended.
Okay.
But I do see Harris posting in the chat. Basically, that's from that it says your location online Zoom. Oh, I see what you're. But yeah, if you look at the chat, basically when I read it, kind of you meet once a month, but actually probably you meet 4 times on Zoom, 1 time in person. Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, it could be a little clearer for me anyway.
Well, okay. So I think we can continue, but if you have any ideas for future this kind of workshop, really email me my quality or PQD. But you know, so basically really we can have more discussion, really bottom line, share the best practice, and then we can make our club better. Go ahead, Alan. Go ahead.
Would you want my all content report and grammarian report? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
But I have to say, before I met Alan, I thought you have to be very gentle with everyone. But Alan kind of call you. Come on, now that who still call you? He doesn't text you. He call. He say, "Hey, how about this?" So really, I think people still can take that. Really. So with this, good night, everyone. Thank you for hanging around, and we learned so much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Joy.
Thank
Thank you, Ken.
you.
Bye.
Good night, all.
Have a
Thank
good
you,
night.
everyone.
Bye.
Good evening.